Welcome to The Source with your host, Dr. C.T. Curry, and co-host Coby Owens. News all across the nation. The Source. Stay in the loop in the city of Wilmington, Delaware. Work together for change in the community. A call to action to find the resources. The Source, the latest in news.
Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
And welcome to The Source. First, before we get started today, Coby, I just want to say, at the mayoral debate as well as other places, people are saying they're watching the show.
Yes.
It's stunning me to see how many people are really watching. I'm thinking that we only got just 2 or 3 people watching every week, but this show, whether it be on YouTube or Facebook, as well as Channel 28, is really getting some strong reviews. So I don't know, how does it feel to be important, man?
It feels good. It's feel good. I love talking to people who say they watch the show. 2 people who I ran into right across from my job the other day stopped me and we talked for a little bit. So again, it feels great just to be able to talk to people.
And for those of you who watch us every week, thank you. Thank you for just even letting us know, even when you disagree, because there are some people who say, I disagree with this and I disagree with that, but they appreciate the fact that we bring the issues to the front. And that's the goal. The goal is not always to agree, but it's to bring the issues to the front. And we want to make sure that we're doing that the best of our ability. So Coby, hats off to you and to the team who worked so hard to make this happen.
Thank you for bringing this show together.
Yes. So now something happened. Now, I don't have any reports on any murders or gun violence that we are aware of that has been reported in the city. But there was a case that kind of caught my attention, and that's the Wilmington Police Department. They are investigating an assault that happened a couple of weeks ago, where a 60-year-old man had been assaulted, and then he died. I didn't hear anything about that a couple weeks ago, but I did see it in the paper. So what's going on with that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, this was not in the paper a few weeks ago when it actually happened. But they have identified the gentleman who has passed away due to an assault. He was found in the 300 block of East 27th Street with a brain injury. He had blunt force trauma to the head. He was taken to the hospital, and then later in the day he passed. Actually, in the next morning he passed away. Wow. Unfortunately, again, this is what we've been talking about with information not being completely given out in a timely manner. People have been in that community. There's been multiple community events since this incident actually happened, and the day that this information has come out, and people did not know that this had taken place. So again, why I am glad that we now have that information. We do not know much more about the incident other than it was a 60-year-old gentleman who ended up passing away.
Are there now? We're the 2700 block, East 300 block of East 27th Street. Are there cameras there? Because they have cameras everywhere.
No, they don't have shot spotters there. It's right off of Market Street if you're coming into the city to the left side. It's right off of Market Street. And again, the main concern here is you have a lot of kids in this area. Okay. It's not far from Thomas Edison. You have the park there as well too, Price is Run. The pool, kids are going to the pool right now. If it is a safety issue in the area, the community should be notified. There was rumors that something had happened in the area, but no one knew for sure what had happened. People weren't on the block when this actually went down. And it went down early in the morning, around 12:40 a.m. on July 29th.
Right. Now, you talked about notifications. Now, back in the older days, as my daughter often say, like I'm an old arcade person, they would notify the community. How does the police department notify the community of any alerts? How does that happen? So,
not to overburden anyone, but you don't have to do daily briefings, right? But there are cities, especially major cities in other states, that do weekly briefings or bi-weekly briefings to let the public know what's going on, take questions from media, call it a gaggle, almost like the White House press room, right? The media shows up, the community shows up, they can ask questions. you can go to your civic association. Sometimes the police are there, sometimes they're not, to try to get updates, but usually they just stick to whatever area your civic association's in. They don't talk about other areas. But because Wilmington is so small, our lines, whether your Civic Association 1 and Civic Association 2, we're so close. That's, if max, it's a 40-block radius, right? Okay. And you're all the way across the city, but that's a neighborhood in Philly. That's a neighborhood in New York. And it's still close enough. People can get to the other side of the city very quick. So again, wanting to know what is going on in your own backyard is critical. So again, either weekly, bi-weekly, just updates about what's going on. Have they solved crimes? Have they, do they need the community's help? Here's transparency, here's input that we want from y'all as well too.
And what I was thinking also, because I know that like they don't want to do these briefings and because some people don't even show up to them, but just like the Amber Alert, couldn't the city invest in something where once a week they just share if that's affected to the certain communities? Like for example, if they want to separate it from the first district from the second district, just send out not an Amber Alert because we don't want to interfere with that, but something like that where we've had a situation that occurred. Just please be on the watch out. We are on the job. Is that really going to cause a lot of havoc in the city to have something like that?
They can use a texting service.
Okay.
People would have to. Well, you can either use the numbers that you already have and then create an opt-out system, or people can opt in.
Yeah. I think an opt-out would be better because that way you give people a chance to see it. Go ahead.
But again, they can set systems up like that. I know the state has an emergency system for weather and for amber or gold alerts. So the city could set something up like that. And I have seen it done in cities our size as well.
Well, I have something like that set up here at East Zion Fair, where if I want to send something out as their pastor or one of the deacons want to send something out, or we got some committee meetings that are going on, we know which area to target. Yep. And I don't understand why a municipality as large as Wilmington or as small compared to other large cities couldn't have something just to keep the community alert. I think a lot of the problems that we have with our misinformation on police would be better solved if we had a flow of communication that just shared truth. I don't have the answer to who hit the gentleman with the blunt object, but it happened. Be careful. We are investigating it.
Right.
It's simple information. I just don't understand why we can't do better as a small city. I just can't understand that. So I'm kind of going to leave that there and hope that they will be able to capture the person who did this to this person. Some family is hurting because of the death of their loved one.
Absolutely.
I also want to talk a little bit about something exciting that happened here at East Zion Fair, but it was sponsored by the Urban League, and I think it was another organization that sponsored it too.
A. Philip Randolph.
The mayoral debate on Monday, and then there was another one that happened on Wednesday. Yep. But I want to start with the one on Monday because it was here at East Zion Fair, and it looked very presidential. I don't know who set all that up, but that was just really serious matter that was going on, and I love the way it was streamed and that we started off with a problem, but it ended up very crystal clear where you could hear, even in the audience. One of the things I want to just tackle real fast is, for those of you who did not get a chance to attend, is it seemed that the governor was a little nervous or tired. I don't know what it was that was going on, but it seemed like he was not comfortable with being there. Yeah,
so first off, shout out to all the partners who helped put that on. Yeah. It was hosted by A. Philip Randolph and the Urban League, but then also the Pan-Atlantic Council, the Jack and Jill Newcastle County, 100 Black Men of Delaware, 100 Black Women of Delaware, all came together to put these on. And it's been a series, right? So it's been governor, candidates who are running for governor, candidates who are running for lieutenant governor. Now it was candidates running for mayor of Wilmington. And thank you for opening up your wonderful sanctuary to a very beautiful backdrop, and the flags there and everything, the music playing as people came in. People had a good time there. And I think, one, the information has gotten out to the community, especially the people who were watching online as well too. But I'll say this: yes, there was. You could see the difference in comfortability on the stage, and you can analyze body language all day long. This is what people have been talking about. This is what people wanted to see, like how comfortable are individuals in different communities outside of their own bubbles. Because when you're running for a position that represents over 72,000 people, you have to be comfortable in talking with people who are going to disagree with you, right? People who may yell at you. Why? That is what happens in politics, right? Especially if you're doing something that they may not agree with. I pray that whoever the next mayor is won't look at people who disagree with them as the mob.
Yes, like this current mayor.
Has decided to do, or talk about how he controls the council, talking about this current mayor. The council should be respected and be its own equal branch of government. But this mayor does not see it as that. So again, you have to be willing to work with people and not try to punish council people who disagree with you. So again, I think what we witnessed on Monday and then again on Wednesday was it's two different audiences right now. How comfortable are you with them? And I think people can make their own judgments based off what they saw of how individuals felt.
Yeah, and when I was sitting there listening and trying to understand the answers, good policies that were presented, it appears that both candidates understood where they were and what community they were sitting in. And Velda seemed to be very comfortable, and a lot of her supporters were here for that event. And I don't want to, get into any sides. I don't get into who won a debate or didn't win a debate. I wanted to know whether or not the information was shared and whether or not people were answering questions. And it did appear that the governor was sharing some of the investments that he brought into the community. Well, Velda was sharing some of the things that she looked forward to making happen in the community. And there were some rebuts that was really good. I don't want to get into the back and forth because we are going to show the debate in full next week on our Coffee with Courage. No, on our source, because you're going to be at the Democratic convention
I will be
having fun and rubbing elbows with all the important people. But I wanted to just bring up that I thought it was really, really interesting how the dynamics of it, of the debate. And our goal is not to say, we want you to vote for this one, we want you to vote for the other one, but we want you to make sure that people are comfortable with it. We had a very horrible 8 years. And I'm going to be very honest with those of you who are watching. I've never personally done anything to Mayor Perzycki. I've never personally, I have his personal cell phone number. And a couple of times I had to use it to say, hey, why are y'all doing this to me? But if you disagree with him, and I learned this late, there's a grudge held.
Oh, yeah.
And I defended him a lot. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Behind the scenes, I defended him, saying, "Look, he has to do what he has to do. He wants a competent government. Yada 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 yada." Okay, but it wasn't until I was really building this last project that I've discovered the viciousness.
Yep.
If that's a word. If it's not, I have a PhD, so you can just make it a word. That happens with this, and so this next mayor, we have to be careful.
I can also speak to that. So me and this current mayor have not seen eye to eye on a few issues when it comes to housing, when it comes to completely ignoring certain parts of the city with investments while highlighting others. And I've said this to him. I've said this to other people. Look, I think it's great you're investing in the East Side. I think it's great you're investing in downtown and the riverfront. But you're leaving communities out. And then what him and his cronies do, they run, they get other council members, they put things in their ears. Oh, this person's bad because they want to take money from your area and give to their area. No. I want to make sure it's even across the board. It's no reason why we got all that money for ARPA and you put it all in one area.
Right, and it's funny all in one because area. I also applied to get some money to help us with our house, the housing we're doing for our seniors. Which, by the way, if the foundation is laid and we're building. But I saw how easily it was for him to avoid. I couldn't get any assistance from the state and from the city. And I'm hoping that Velda or Carney will look at some of those departments too, because even when we was doing some permitting, and I'm saying this out public and out loud because I don't want to ever get to a place where I'm taking it personal, but we do pay for this show. But even when we tried to get things like the street help with, not having to pay all those fees,
right,
and able to use some, no. And they overcharged us on stuff. And I'm going to bring all this to the new mayor. I'm going to bring all of this because I'm holding on to documentation. But some of these department heads have fallen in line with him to ensure.
They want to keep their jobs.
Well, they're not going to keep it after he's gone because I think that's when the pressure is going to come up. And I'm going to sit down with whoever wins. And that's why I've stayed neutral in this race on purpose. Now, for those of you who are saying, Pastor Curry, you have not made a position, whether you want Velda or you want Carney, for this one season, because normally I come out and I say what I want and move on, but I learned how vicious people are when you're trying to, and that was one of the things I was trying to tell one of our co-sponsors, not sponsors, but co-hosts. When you're trying to represent a group of people, you can't always be so set on you or what you're doing that you fail to realize you're representing a group of people. And this house, this project that we're building right now would have been done had we had the right people who understood, okay, I disagree with Curry on this, but that project is a good project. And I want to give a little shout out to our city council person for our district. Her name just slipped right out of my head. Right over here.
Michelle Harley.
Miss I'm sorry, Michelle, for forgetting your name that quick. Because she did get in there and help us out a little bit to get some things done. But the viciousness of not even helping, a lot of it came also from department heads. And I got my notes very crystal clear, and I'm going to say to whoever is elected that if you want to keep me at bay, you're going to have to get rid of some people in the administrative offices because and some of them are lifetime members of positions who just know the system and they know how to keep people at bay. And I think that's going to be very big. So I brought that to the front today, not so much to talk about my project, but we need a mayor who don't demonize people,
right? Who
don't hold vendettas against people.
That is the sad part of this is this city is so diverse. You have so many different communities here. You should be able to disagree with someone and not hold it personally.
Right.
You just talked about Michelle Harley. I haven't agreed with her on everything, right? But I do know one thing about Michelle, or Councilwoman Harley, is if it's in her district, she wants to know about it. She wants to try her best to help and assist, whether it's families, residents, or a small business, right? I'm pretty sure she has the most small businesses in her district. So she tries to help many different groups, right? It's okay if you don't see eye to eye on everything. Then you have Mayor Perzycki, who, during the residency, hundreds of Black Wilmingtonians came out, and we got called the mob.
The mob, that's horrible. That was horrible.
Now, the same incident happened dealing with the Rodney Street Reservoir.
Good analogy.
But the only difference was those residents over there, which is a predominantly white neighborhood, were white. Now, it got so heated over there that the mayor's deputy chief of staff, or former deputy chief of staff, still one of his high-end people up on the 9th floor, almost got in a fist fight on video with residents over there. And not one statement came out about how it's a mob or they're a threat or anything. And I guess it's because now Perzycki's on his way out. His racial biases in this city and how he's operated and how he's shut out so many minority business owners and then have tried to now go in and pick a few to show, see, I have Black friends.
Yeah. And I think that's going to hurt Carney, to be honest with you.
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
Perzycki is very good at marketing. Perzycki,
Trump.
Perzycki spoke at the rally that went bad, the rally that tore up this city back in 2020, and then blamed peaceful protesters. Arrested a minor for trying to walk up Market Street. But it was his rally, his words that incited people to go burn and break in on Market Street. That was the one he spoke at. But hear him say it, the ones who peacefully came together, to work together, who asked, hey, can we stop having officers who are beating our heads against the window, officers who are raping young ladies while handcuffed in the back of the cop car? And you know what? He said, oh, y'all are all lying. But guess what? Every one of those cases have been found to be true, and those officers have been convicted and found guilty. But yet he puts out the narrative, we're the bad ones.
Yeah, we're gonna
wake up.
We're gonna have to really take our time, Coby, as we continue throughout this next couple of months. Well, really 80 days, I guess it is, to really just share the hurt that the community has experienced with racism covered, but yet exposed.
Yep.
And when you said one area, you know, it wasn't out in the paper as people who are mobs and people with those racial slurs, but yet a fight almost break out with their staff. It speaks very clearly that we are viewed differently, and I'm not happy about it, but I kept quiet just to see, and I see that I hope whoever, Velda or John Carney, I hope whichever they are, they're going to understand this is going to be at the beginning of their administration. And I'm not saying, well, if Velda get in, she can be disrespectful to those who are our Caucasian brothers and sisters. No. We want a mayor who love all the city. Who, if you didn't vote for me in the 9th district, if it's Velda, then guess what? I'm still your mayor, and whatever you need, we could. And that's the problem that even Trump had. If you didn't vote for him, if you didn't work with him, he just dismissed you. But when Biden got in, when all of those different places had issues, especially the red states, he still did what was needed. And that's what we need. So I'm gonna leave that alone today. We're gonna come back to that again as much as need be, because while we are moving forward for this city, we need people. We need people in those offices, administrative offices, who love the city and want to help things happen. And if I went through as much as I went through just to get my project started, I can imagine other people and what they've gone through. And I got a little bit of influence in certain areas. It was just horrible. The last thing I want to bring up before we go to commercial break, because I know we are totally out of time, but the last thing I want to bring up today is, again, Coby, the lieutenant governor's office is in the papers. We talked about the Epauloids, that's right, situation, and now they are accusing, we talked about our husband getting money from the campaign. Now they're accusing the staff of working on her campaign during office hours. What kind of person is she?
So, one, just to let everyone know, when you are a state employee, especially one that works in an elected official's office, you may be rank and file in a department somewhere that's different. But especially when you're in an appointed position or working for someone who's elected, you have to follow the code, which is the Hatch Act. And one of the things that is prohibited is doing electoral work while on the state or federal or any government time. Why? Because they cannot use that money to pay for their campaigns, right? It's supposed to make sure that things stay ethical and transparent and blur lines don't happen. There is a report that is out that through a FOIA request has found that a few of her staffers who were also working on her campaign or communicating with her campaign were working on state time at the time in her lieutenant governor's office or the behavioral health consortium staff. As of right now, no statement has been put out by the lieutenant governor to refute these claims, but it is out there. It's on, I believe, Delaware Online.
Coby, I'm not a Delawarean, okay? Now I am, because I've been here for 25 years, so I guess I am a Delawarean now. But I wasn't born in Delaware, okay? Right. Listen, when will we stop allowing people to give us chicken sandwiches for our votes.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, Coby, I'm frustrated with all of these African American people, all of these voters who are supporting people like this. How much more? If Velda make one mistake, she's done. How much more does Bethany Hall Long have to do in order for people to understand ethics is not something she's getting a good grade in?
Mm-hmm.
Misappropriation of funds. This is stuff that came up, and she doesn't respond until months later because she has to clean it up and make sure nothing else comes out on it. And I'm not against her. She's a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
I've met her many times. It's not even about being personal, but we got a lot of people who watch this show who are her supporter. I am with Matt because I watch his integrity. There are times when I'll try to call Matt Myers and he's like, we can't talk about that. That's something I can't talk about right now. I'm like, what is he talking about? Then when I got into understanding the rules, I understood as if I'm calling him as the county exec, I need to deal with that during the business hours. If I'm calling him as a candidate, I need to deal with that during that time. So I understand the ethics of it. And that's why I decided I'm going to come out of the closet and I'm going to vote and I'm going to verbalize that I'm supporting Matt Myers. He has been a shining light to a whole lot of things. That's just me. I'm not asking you to endorse, but this woman continues is more and more onions, the peeling is coming down. We're seeing more and more. How much more do we have to do, Coby? You're going to have to tell us that. You're our analyst of this show. How much more before people stop playing their games?
So we have less than 30 days. I think we're at 26 days until the election. Early voting starts. Not next week, but the following week, that Thursday. We are almost to the end of this campaign. To be honest, I don't know if this is resonating with people. I don't know if enough people know about this. I know Matt's campaign has called for a federal investigation. I know it has been in the papers, but right now, if I'm being honest, viewership on Delaware Online is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of attack ads going out. If I get one more mail piece to my house, I have a stack of almost 20.
I've seen CNN too. They're on CNN.
Yeah, I know the money portion is coming in. I know campaign finance reports were due the other day. And at this moment, neither Bethany or Matt or Colin or any of the other two, the only one who released theirs so far is Mike Ramone, has released their reports, right? I would love to see how much money they have spent so far and how much they have for pre-BART ad space over these next few weeks as well, too.
Yeah, well, we're going to see what it is, but we need to know what else needs to happen because all this stuff, when I was taught where there's smoke, there's fire. So even though she had not responded to it, but if it was wrong, she would have responded immediately. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Coby Owens, and I'm running for the Democratic nomination for the City Council 1st District right here in Wilmington. I am running on a platform of addressing our affordable housing crisis, making sure we're helping both homeowners and renters both live in this city, live in safe and affordable housing. I'm running on a platform to address affordable housing, but also looking at quality of life issues, making sure that our street signs are up, our streets are fit, our sidewalks aren't cracked, and making sure our communities are safer for everyone. And lastly, I am running on a sustainable development and economic growth platform, one that makes sure we're investing into our neighborhoods, and our best investment that we can make is investing into our youth, making sure that we are preparing them for our future, and then lastly, expanding senior programming to make sure that they continue to age in place right here in the 1st District, in the city of Wilmington. I'm doing this for y'all. Vote for Coby Owens.
Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you can do about it. What we're going to do today is we're going to have a real good conversation. I'm excited. Come on! Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on. And let's get after it. And we're back. Well, Coby, we want to deal with what's going on with Coby Corner today.
Yeah, so first off, as you know, there was a very long school board meeting for Christina School District last month that went until almost 3 a.m, in which at closer to the end, in a 4-3 vote, they voted to remove Dan Shelton as superintendent and also not pit the deputy superintendent as the acting superintendent, the interim superintendent. Fast forward a month, they've had some meetings, and they now had their school board meeting the other day. Again, a very contentious vote on the 4-3 line, but they have named former acting superintendent from 2015 to 2016, Dr. Robert Andrzejewski, as the current interim Christina superintendent.
Is it the same 4-3?
Same 4-3, same 4, same 3 against. Again, they suggested that the deputy, one of the 3, Amy Trofe, has suggested that the deputy superintendent, Deidre Joyner, be the one who take over on an interim basis. That was shot down. And again, those same 3 members questioned the process in selecting Andrzejewski, including Monica Marek, who was, again, one of the 3 who voted against him. She said there was no vetting of him. Again, I know Dr. Andrzejewski. That's a very long name. I call him Dr. A. I've known him for a long time. I know his sons. He's been involved with the Christina School District, Red Clay School District. I believe he used to be a principal far back in the day. He was interim headmaster of Wilmington Charter while they were searching for a new person. He has a long experience in education. I believe at one point in time he was either being vetted to be our next state Secretary of Education. Okay. He's a good guy. He has a heart for our youth, and he wants to see them do better. He wants to see them achieve. So I don't agree with that comment that she made that there was no vetting. But again, now that Dr. Shelton is on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, I believe they are going to make a motion to completely remove him as superintendent or not renew his contract, so let it pay him out for the next year and then start a search for a new superintendent. I don't know if Dr. Andrzejewski wants to stay there long term or just be there to kind of oversee operations until they find a new superintendent. Gotcha. But it was, again, a very contentious meeting. Either the Secretary of Education, who was a superintendent with Andrzejewski, former Brandywine superintendent, now Secretary of Education Mark Holliday, showed up to the meeting and was there to listen to what was going on. This has been a very, very contentious few months for the Christina School Board, and this is also coming at a time in which we're trying to plan on how to properly remove them from the city of Wilmington. They are one of 3 non-continuous school districts in the entire nation, with the little bubble that they have in the city of Wilmington, but the rest of the area is surrounded by red clay.
Gotcha.
Next, I want to talk about me not being here for the show next week. I will be out in Chicago. Yeah. It will be one of the more historic DNC, Democratic National Committee conventions, because we will be nominating the first ever Black woman to be the official nominee of a major party. Gotcha. This goes all the way back to when Shirley ran for president, Chisholm, and how they fought her, they demonized her, and now to come forward to have Kamala Harris as our nominee with an amazing pick for vice president, Tim Walz, who, yes, is the coach. I am excited for this upcoming convention, and we're getting more and more information. Literally on my way over here to the show, they said that Beyonce will be performing.
And has endorsed her.
And has endorsed her, which she usually stays out of things.
Yes.
This could be the 2008 Oprah moment, right?
Yeah.
She has a huge following that crosses bases, right? Mm-hmm. That crosses cultures and backgrounds. So this could be huge. I'm excited. I will be out there with almost 50 other Delawareans representing the first state through my position as the vice chair of the Democratic Party here. But it is going to be a great time. I'm going to be on some news outlets at all different times of the day. I think the earliest I have is a 5 a.m. one that's going to be played over in Europe somewhere. But all throughout the time, I will be on different circuits. So you may see me on CNN and MSNBC giving my analysis. But then also, it's a prime opportunity for us to talk and convene about strategies for outreach into different groups. I'm the vice chair of our regional for our Black Caucus, for the Eastern Black Caucus. I'm also a member of the Youth Council. I had no say in that. I'm still considered youth.
You are.
For the DNC, it's up until 36. So we are also planning on making sure, one, we get young folk out to the polls, but then also that we are mobilizing Black people out to the poll, especially Black men, to come out and vote for our sister who is running to be the next president of the United States.
Excellent.
So I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
It's going to be a busy time, but a good time. I am going to miss being here, but I'm still going to be connected.
And the show can't go on without you, so we're just going to run the debate. I'm going to be on for just a minute, just to talk about any updates, but we're going to run the debate because I can't do the show without you.
But it's been a long time coming for this historic moment. The headliners for each night: the first night, Monday, the 19th, President Joe Biden will be speaking. Tuesday, the 20th, both President Clinton and President Obama will be the headliners. On Wednesday night, the 21st, Vice President nominee Governor Walz will be speaking. And then, of course, on that last night, Vice President Kamala Harris will be formally accepting the nomination and speaking as the headliner. So it's going to be a fun time. I'm excited to get to taste some of the Chicago food out there as well,
I know you was going to go there.
I have a whole team already there that has planned out different meals for us and everything of like tasting the different cultures of Chicago. I've been to Chicago a few times, but never on this level and never for this long.
I have family
so
in Chicago.
I'm excited.
They can cook. You can be down at the convention center area, so that's going to be some good eating. Some good eating.
So again, this is going to be a highlight of what the Biden-Harris campaign has been able to accomplish, but then also the vision going forward of what Kamala Harris wants to do. But speaking of what the Biden-Harris administration has been trying to do, for the first time ever, they are negotiating Medicare prices.
Yes.
And some of you may say, Coby, why should I care about this? Especially I'm in Wilmington. What does the federal have to do? Those seniors who live in the city of Wilmington, they're going to positively be impacted by this. Because especially if you look at 10 blockbuster drugs that are being negotiated right now, the prices are going to come down 79%.
Wow.
And these are life-saving drugs. These are drugs that help with high blood pressure, diabetes, and things like
especially
that, right?
And they affect our community very, very strongly. Yes.
Things that help with blood cancer as well, too. So again, this is going to be critical to putting more money back into our pockets because we don't have to spend it on medicine. We don't have to put it out there in those healthcare costs, especially when they're continuing to try to fight the inflation that's going on, some of these pharmaceutical companies have just taken advantage of people.
Yeah.
You know, these are life-saving meds. You can mass produce it. You do not need to charge 10,000% over what you actually takes to make this, right? You're already making a profit. You know people are going to have to continue to buy this. Why are you doing this to them? And some of these companies were just profit hungry. So taking them on and negotiating on behalf of the American people, again, Medicare Part D covers almost 50 million seniors in America.
Right.
This is going to be huge. And this is all a part of the Inflation Reduction Act. So yes, why that passed in 2023, it is still taking effect. And now you're about to start seeing some of the impact of it. But again, that is critical. And then here on a local level, we need to start negotiating prices here to make sure we're not pricing our seniors out of their homes as well, too.
Yes.
That means looking at our taxes, looking at housing affordability, looking at how we can invest in them because they have invested so much in the city in the past. So again, hopefully people will learn and take some action based on this. I know if I'm elected, I will, but you need others as well, too.
Gotcha.
But then lastly, just having a small discussion on 2024. We are almost here and there are tons of different avenues on how to vote in our upcoming primary. We're less than 30 days out. You can vote. If you already have your absentee ballot, make sure you mail that back in. The deadline to get registered to vote for the primary was August 17th, which was yesterday. But we have a new tool here in Delaware that we had in 2022, and the city of Wilmington and Newcastle County did not take the opportunity to really utilize it like Sussex County did, and that's early voting. So early voting, all that means is you could go to a polling location in your county and vote early in a 10-day window leading up to the election. Now, this is if you can't get off of work on that Tuesday, on September the 10th. This is a great opportunity for you to still be able to participate in the election and make sure your vote counts. It starts August the 28th. And I'm going to just read the times that the polling places will be open. So from August the 28th to August the 23rd, 2024, polling places will be open.
You gave the wrong dates. Give it again. You said it's the 23rd.
August the 28th to August the 31st, sorry.
Thank you.
2024, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., polling places will be open. Then they're closed for Labor Day. And then September the 3rd, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., they will be back open. On September the 4th to September the 8th, polling places will be open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The polling locations for Newcastle County, and I'm just going to go in alphabetical order, is the Appoquinimink State Service Center. It's at 122 Silver Lake Road, Middletown, Delaware, 19709. Christina Crossing, 501 South Walnut Street, Suite 13, directly next to the Wingstop. That's, again, I believe, going out of Wilmington. 19801 is the zip code. The Claymont Community Center, 3301 Green Street, Claymont, Delaware, 19703. The Department of Elections Warehouse, 220 Lisa Drive, Newcastle, Delaware, 19720. The Hudson State Service Center, 501 Ogletown Road, Newark, Delaware, 19711. And then lastly, the Powell of Wilmington, I should know this one, right? 3707 North Market Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19802. So you can go to any of those locations, even if it's not your regular polling location, from August the 28th to September the 8th to go and vote early. They will have voting machines there based on your name and your residency. That's the ballot you will get. So you will still get to vote for who represents you and what district you're in. But you can go to those places early and go ahead and vote if you cannot get to the polls on September the 10th.
Now, for those of you who have watched us, watched our earlier show, I had a show earlier with Sherry Dorsey Walker, and I kept announcing the whole August 28th through 31st, and I kept emphasizing 2 locations. And I know we have a larger viewing audience other than Channel 28, but for Wilmingtonians, Coby said if you can't get off work, I'm saying to you, let's vote early. We don't know what emergencies will occur. We need everybody voting, especially for the mayor and the city council. But if you're voting, I live in Bear, so I'm going to go and vote anyway so I can get my vote in and it's sealed and it's delivered. But the Powell Center is one of the places we were pushing, and we were pushing, not Newcastle, but Claymount Community Center from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's August 28th through the 31st. Please don't wait to the last minute. If you already registered to vote, just show up with your ID. Just show up with your ID. Doesn't matter where you live at. Don't worry about the precinct and all that good stuff. Just show up with your ID and vote. This election is bigger than just voting for the president of the United States. It's about your community, where you live. And we're going to come back in a few minutes, and I'm going to say some more on that. But since you ended your part with that, I want to make sure they understood 31st. Now, he gave all those dates out. All I'm concerned about is August 28th through the 31st. That little window of time from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Go to the Powell Center. Go to the Claymont Community Center, and let's vote. Let's get our votes in. We'll be right back.
Join us live for our weekly worship. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, Pastor, I'm doing the best I can, but I still gotta have a little Chardonnay, and I still gotta have a little this, and I gotta still sneak around. The devil is a liar. That's an excuse.
Wilmington's most exciting church.
Hello, I'm Marcus Henry, and I'm running for Newcastle County Executive. I spent over 20 years working in state and local government, trying to bring the good programs and services you deserve here in Newcastle County. Please support my campaign. Please look us up at marcushenrybe.com for further information. I look forward to meeting you all over the next year, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
And we are back. Well, we're in the height part of the political season, and so much is going on. So we're going to dedicate this segment just to really talk about the politics that's going on. And I want to make sure that people know who's running. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna say, who we're voting for. You're not gonna say it. I'm gonna say what I want to say. But let's start with the mayor's office.
Yes.
Who on the Democratic side? Who's running for mayor?
Yeah, so there's only Democrats running.
Okay.
So Governor Carney, who's term limited as governor, he's running. And then former city treasurer and former state treasurer, Velda Jones-Potter, is also running. Okay,
so that's important that you understand the 2 candidates who are running for mayor. Again, is Governor Carney and is Velda Potter. She made a comment in the I think I'm the one who always mix it up. Is her last name is Potter Jones, right?
No, Jones Potter.
Jones. I'm sorry, Velda, and you're good friends of mine. We're going to have you on the show. But I guess you were talking to me when you said get it right. So I'm going to get it right, and I got Coby here to keep me straight. So we got that for the mayor. Who's running for I'm more interested in the county exec position. Who's running for that?
So there's 2 people running for county exec on the Democratic side. That is Karen Hartley Nagel, who is the current county council president, is running, and then former department head for general manager for the county, Marcus Henry, is also running.
Okay. So we got those two candidates running. Then you have lieutenant governor.
Yes.
Who's running for lieutenant governor?
So there's 3 Democrats running for lieutenant governor. That is Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker. That is State Senator Kyle Evans Gay. And then DSU Vice Chair of Board of Trustees, Debbie Harrington.
Okay, so you got 3 people running for that, and only one serious person running, Walker, but we can't say that on the show. And then I want to ask you something, because I'm gonna catch you off guard a little bit, but I heard somebody called me and shared that a mailer went out. We're not sure. I think it's those folks on the police side of the house. That's just me that trying to bring negative disparity on you about you not liking police and things of that nature. That has been one of the most misconstrued things across the country, because during a time when police were doing a lot of brutality, people were saying, look, we don't need to really fund the police. We need to make sure we have other avenues, but we got to keep the safety and security. Coby, do you hate police?
I do not, no.
So, go ahead.
And I've said this many a times. I said this in 2020. I've said it ever since then. My advocacy and my passion to change Leah Board, to help families that have lost loved ones or have had loved ones extremely abused by police, isn't because I hate cops, but it's because I love my community. And one of my things when I say that, I'm the board president of the Police Athletic League of Wilmington, right? I want to make sure everyone has a better interaction with the cops. I want to make sure everyone goes home safe at the end of the night, right? And that means, or not even home. If you got to go to jail, you got to go to jail, but you go to jail alive, right? And that we have due process. You go through the court system. You have your opportunity to fight for your rights. What I don't believe in is because someone has a badge that they're able to dictate whether you get to live or not, whether your rights matter or not. We are looking at the 10-year anniversary of Mike Brown, right? We're looking at the 12-year anniversary of Trayvon Martin. But if you look here in Wilmington, things have happened right here. We've had cops break the back of young teenagers for simply talking back and not walking away. So you slam them and then you put your full body weight down on their back. In the Jarena Green case, you had Yaheem Harris, who was simply wrong place, wrong time, walking down the street. The cop thought he was the person who stole a car. And when he was yelling at him, he was like, "Don, that's not me." He shot him, and then the cop lied about it. This kid missed his junior and senior year of high school. You don't get those memories back. I don't think things like that are right. I care about making sure everyone in the city of Wilmington, everyone in Delaware is safe. A part of my platform, and because I keep getting attacked on this on the campaign side of things, part of my platform is creating an Office of Violence Prevention. Why? Because it's not just the cops. It's not just the mayor. It's not just city council who's going to solve any of this. We have to look at gun violence and what's happening in our city in a holistic way, in a full, robust way, which means we need more mental health specialists to help individuals with case management. We need to make sure that we're getting to the root causes of what is causing the gun violence here in the city. We need more interventionists who can go out in the street. And these are hiring individuals who have been in jail, right? They may not have a master's degree in this work, but they know the streets and they know what's right now. They've turned their lives around. And guess what? The people who are committing these crimes right now are more likely to listen to them than some person in a suit and jacket, right? So again, it's working to make sure all those voices are heard.
And the reason why I brought that to you unexpectedly is because this is what they tried to do the last time you ran. The last, and as a matter of fact, I'm inviting you to the Coffee with Curry show next week before you get out of town, because honestly, Coby, this is how they get the community to believe. Don't vote for him because he's against police. No, you're against the violence. People, because they have authority, they can just do what they want to do. That's important. For those of you who are watching me, listen, this is a very critical election that's getting ready to happen. And I need to make sure I'm putting out there as much as possible. We need you. We need your help. We don't need you to let the propaganda of some person who don't even live in the city to tell you who to vote for. Now you can say, well, that's you, Curry. You don't live in the city. The church I pastor is in this city. The people who I pastor are in this city. And I am very much invested in this city. However, you're right. But let's let the facts be the facts. This brother has been very much at the front line when things have gone wrong. And if they can destroy him, they will do it. Make sure you're not allowing those little pamphlets to come out, people who are not even strong enough to put their own name on stuff, to try to give him a bad, rep. No, Coby was very clear. He gave you his position. He is not against the police, but he is for making sure everybody is safe, including the police. So the violence prevention group that he wants to do, all of that has a part of it, and I hope that you all will take that to heart. The second thing I want to do now is I want to use this moment. I still got a couple more moments, Coby, now that you have answered that question, and we'll put to rest, because that's put to bed now. There are several people who are running for city council at large. Now, I'm not even going to dignify my show with saying anything negative about anybody, because that's not important now. Let the work people have done speak for them. But there's some new faces and new strength that's coming. Wayna Dobson, come on. We have to put her in there. We have to say, you know what, Wayna, you've served the community. You've served people. You understand the heart of the city. We need her there. I can't tell you who to vote for, but that's who I'm going to vote for. If you give me your vote, I would vote for her in a minute. I would vote for Alex Hacker. Why? Great brother, got his boots on the ground, been working hard, have a proven track record that he understands the community and the community that he come from. And I'm also going to vote for Tish. Yes, she's great. She understands her community. She's worked in this community. She's fought for this community. And these are the people that when you've been praying, Lord, send us people who could rise up and bring strength to the community, bring a voice to the community of those who do not have a voice. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm looking to vote for Hackett. I'm looking to vote for Dobson. I'm looking to vote for Perzycki. That's who I'm looking to vote for. Now, I can't tell you who to vote for. I'm going to keep saying that because I don't want nobody to say, you can't tell me who to vote. I can't, but I want to keep those names in your head. And I'm going to make sure that when you go in that ballot that you remember people who gave you a chicken sandwich and a lot of promises and didn't do anything. I'm not going to turn our show negative to talk about them. I'm just going to talk about the new rise of leadership that our city need. Then there's also I'm going to support Harley. I think over here in this area, this section, great woman. She showed me I don't have to agree with Curry. I don't have to agree with everything that Curry does, but she always delivered. That matters to me. And I'm going to tell you another person I'm going to support. I'm going to support a young man by the name, let me see if I can remember his name. I think his name is Coby Owens over there in the 1st District. Is that the 1st District?
Yes.
Because I don't know the politics. I'm going to support him, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to support him. Because he's everywhere all at the same time. The Bible teaches us, for those of you who are part of the Christian faith, that we are to be imitators and emulators of Jesus Christ, which means he's everywhere solving and being the voice for those who are voiceless. There is not a person we can even bring up on our team who can say they are there to help the community, who's there to make sure that the community is doing what it needs to do and the leadership in communities are held accountable. That's who I'm voting for. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm going to stick with Coby. I can't tell you who to vote for. I'm going to stick with Harley. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I'm going to stick with Dobson. I can't tell you who to vote for. I'm going to stick with Hackett, and I'm going to stick with Perzycki. That team in city council, you almost got the majority right there. If we can get that 5 rather, we only need what? How many you need?
7.
We only need 2 more. Oh, well, now I got to come back and get you 2 more. Let me see how I can get you 2 more. But if we can get our 7 and the right mayor in the city, the trajectory turns. Things get better. We become stronger and we become more productive. Coby, that's the end of our show today. I am way out of time. Anything else you got today?
That's all I have for
That's all you got today?
That's all I got.
Well, Coby won't tell you, but we're going to make sure that we do what we got to do by voting for him to get him in the office, and I'm hoping and trusting. I put my money where my mouth is, and I've asked all of these campaigns. I've tried to contribute so that they will be successful in what they do. Make sure you show up and show out and do what you have to do, because Wayne, I'm Alex, Tisha, Harley, Coby, good people. Till the next time, see ya.
Take care, y'all.
You've been watching The Source with host Dr. C.T. Curry and co-host Coby Owens. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest episodes.